FM and AM 1160. Good morning. Glad that you're with us here today. Michelle Jordan, we're glad she's with us too from the Ark, Indiana County. My goodness gracious, Michelle, it's good to have you with us. You've got a mind full of history today, don't you?
Good morning, Todd. How are you?
I'm wonderful. Wonderful. Our conversation with Michelle brought to you by Marcus and Mack, voted best personal injury law firm in the Best of Indiana County contest. Marcus and Mack, a law firm representing injured people. So you've got the gala coming up.
We do.
You've been really, really active early in this year, haven't you?
Absolutely. So we had our 50th community partner breakfast, and that was March 23rd. And that was a huge success. So bringing all the agencies, organizations, law enforcement, everybody together, and celebrating them as one of our 50th partners over the years. Yeah. And that was just wonderful. Sherry Landis, the executive director of the Ark of PA, came and spoke. And so great message, great meal. Hilton always does a great job. And we had a couple things sponsored by, First Commonwealth Bank, several different sponsors, Sunrise Human Resources. So we were very thankful. That was a great event. But we also wanted to do something where we were, yes, it's a gala benefit, but we also just wanted to celebrate the night of the Ark and what we've done over the last 50 years. And so it's coming up on May 12th.
Yeah, you've got your big gala coming up, and it promises to be quite the night too, doesn't it?
Yeah, so we have our families coming, we have our self-advocates coming. They're going to talk a little bit that night. We have the IUP Jazz Band coming to entertain us. It's a sit-down meal, again at the Hilton. And our keynote speaker is Jay Paterno, who his family is so big on supporting individuals with disabilities, especially with Special Olympics. So he's going to be our keynote. And then we'll be doing 2 scholarship awards named after our founder's son, John Angelo. So it's the John Angelo Transition Scholarship. One for an Armstrong County student and one for an Indiana County student of $1,000 each. So lots of awards, just a great night to celebrate.
It really is going to be. Now I know that it's just about sold out, isn't it?
It is, actually. It's been very popular.
Yeah.
We've had several businesses and organizations sponsor some tables so our families and self-advocates can attend. The tickets are $100 a piece to cover the evening, but it's also a gala and a benefit to benefit the Ark and our cost-free program. So we've been very blessed in that way, and it's been people have been very excited about it. So
well, I mentioned history. And 50 years is a lot of history for the Ark, Indiana County, isn't it?
It is. So, we were founded in 1973 by a group of about 25 parents who got together, Joe Angelo being one of those parents and his wife Shirley, just having, a son, John, with Down syndrome, and coming together because there was very little resources in the area and no one to talk to about what do we do next. Right. And that was before the IDA law was passed to guarantee education for individuals with disabilities. So there was very little. And they quickly decided to become a chapter of the Ark, which is a local chapter of a state chapter of a national chapter of the Ark. And when they formed, they quickly learned that they wanted to be an advocacy organization compared to other ARCs in the state and around the nation that are a service provider. Okay. And being an advocacy organization, they dove pretty deep into what does this area need right now. And they were looking at home-based community services right from the start and actually got a grant to purchase a home and bring in the first group home here in Indiana County, which is now today Community Living and Learning. And so they took it upon themselves to make that happen. The next thing is they made Camp Sunrise happen. So they got another grant, got that started for an activity that was for individuals with disabilities during the summer. And actually, Barb Telthorster was the first executive director of Camp Sunrise back in the day before she was hired by the Ark. So lots of history. And then Joe made it, quite a priority legislatively to advocate for individuals with disabilities, as well as going into the institutions. He visited, him and his staff and volunteers visited Pennhurst State Institution, Torrance, Polk, and, they were really making sure that individuals were cared for with quality of care, quality of life. And he really promoted that the quality of life is home-based within the community.
Yeah.
And so he worked very hard on that over the years.
I think that's one of the interesting things about it, and one of the most fascinating aspects of it as well is that Joe, from his own life experience, was able to identify that this is what kids, especially who have these disabilities, really need, is the ability to remain in their homes with the ones who care for them the most, at the same time advocating for one day those parents aren't going to be there for those kids, who, as they grow older and become adults themselves, they're going to need help.
Yeah, and thankfully services have, increased over the years, so we do have a lot of home-based community services now. But, the research out there is that they do live a quality, longer, healthier life within the community, not in an institution-based setting.
Yeah.
And, COVID definitely brought that even more to light. The crisis that we're having right now that Joe is experiencing himself is the home-based community crisis, where our direct support staff are not paid at a rate that equals someone working at Sheets or somewhere else locally. Mm-hmm. And that rate is set by the government. So I right now am fighting very hard with Jim and working with Jim Struzzi and Joe Pittman in order to bring about those increases, Todd, in order to sustain the system, because right now the system is collapsing. There are not workers out there to hire.
Yeah.
And so Joe and his wife, you almost become a hostage of your house. You can't leave. John needs full-time care at this point in his later life years. And so we're finding many families are now the safety net, where the home-based community services is supposed to be the safety net for individuals.
Yeah. And so they're working on that legislatively.
Correct.
And, of course, the state is very much interested from an agency standpoint and an administrative standpoint in helping as well. But getting all of those services and finding the answers is not an easy thing. There are just all kinds of different issues that have to be dealt with. And in this case, they are unique issues.
They are. So, you have to figure out where those funds are going to come from. The governor's budget proposal was short of what we need in order to sustain that system. Mm-hmm. And so, it also brings that hiring level. When you raise that rate, it brings the hiring level of those you hire. It takes a special individual to work in this field.
Sure.
And making sure that you have that special individual that has the heart for it and the mindset to care for someone with a disability, and maybe even have complex medical needs at the same time.
Yeah. Sometimes I think that we believe that all it takes is to throw some money at a problem and that'll fix it.
No, there's training.
Yeah.
There's support. There's staff support.
There's finding the actual people who want to make that a career. It takes a really special
and have
person.
that passion.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah. All of that has to play into this as well. And then comes, okay, where do we find the funds to make this something that they can do for a living and sustain them and their families as well? Because if we can't, then it's going to be constant turnover and probably not the highest quality of training and individualism that you want.
Correct. Which, our individuals' lives are at stake, right? So it's a quality of care issue. If a medication gets missed, if someone gets out of their house and elopes and they didn't realize that they got out. Mm-hmm. So it's a safety, a high safety issue as well, and making sure that our individuals are cared for.
Yeah. So the event is coming up in May.
Yes.
And what date did you say?
Yeah, so that's May 12th.
That's May 12th for the gala.
5:30 to 9.
Yeah.
At the Hilton Garden Inn.
But that's not all that you have planned. You always have something planned.
Oh, we do.
We
do.
You've got a whole year's worth of planning ahead.
So we restarted our dental clinics again at the Arc, and we have another one coming up in June. And forgive me, I don't have the date off the top of my head, but it's all on our website at www.arcindiana.org. And we have our kickball classic coming up in June. That's June 17th. The team to beat is the Indiana Borough Police Department. So, they were the champions last year. So we're very excited that we're gonna be having that at the Optimist Park this year. We'll have 4 fields going on. So we have that fundraiser coming up in June. We are looking to work with local law enforcement about additional training for local law enforcement working with individuals with disabilities and what that looks like in a crisis situation. So also working on that as well. We're going to do another Spirit of Food class again this summer, Todd, offering that free box of food as well as a cooking class for individuals inclusively with the community. So it's all about bringing everybody together, Todd. So
yeah, my goodness, 50 years of the ARC in Indiana County, and the hard work that is done. And I'm looking at the website right now. April 13th, June 15th.
June 15th, yes.
June 15th
correct.
is the next date for the dental clinic.
Yeah, and that is at the ARC, 11 to 3, and there's a number on there for you to text, and that's how you reserve your spot. But we still have such a huge dental disparity in this area, Todd, working with individuals with disabilities or the other disabilities, the aging and the young. So they come from Pittsburgh and they go straight to our site, and it's been absolutely fantastic.
Yeah.
So
Wonderful, wonderful. All right, Michelle, so if anybody wants information, the website is arcindiana.org, arcindiana.org. Or they can always just get in touch with you, right?
Absolutely. They can call the office at 724-349-8230 or stop by. We're on the corner of 5th and Water Street.
She is Michelle Jordan, the ARC Indiana County. Thanks so much for
Thanks,
coming to
Todd.
visit.
Have a wonderful week.
You too. It is the voice of Indiana County. It's WCCS 101.1 FM and AM 1160, 24 and a half after 8 o'clock. Coming up, the CBS Sports Minute, and then it is Jake Slobodnik in our WCCS newsroom on this Tuesday morning. The Indiana County Commissioners are scheduled to visit with us in our next half hour. Indiana in the Morning, always presented by First Commonwealth Bank. Time to be first, member FDIC. AccuWeather tells us we're on the way today to only 45 degrees with rain and snow showers in the forecast. Tomorrow, we're going to be up in the low 60s, partly sunny. And then on Thursday, 82, Friday, 78. Over the weekend, cools off a bit again. Right now in Indiana, it's only 35. It's the voice of Indiana County, WCCS, 101.1 FM and AM 1160.
This is Boomer Esiason with the CBS Sports Minute. Fighting rain and headwinds, Evan Shibet won his second straight Boston Marathon. Helen Obiri completed the Kenyan sweep. Elsewhere, former Bruins captain Zdeno Chara finished in 3 hours, 38 minutes, and 23 seconds, while former quarterback Doug Flutie needed just under 5.5 hours. I'm Boomer Esiason.
Hi, I'm Kelsey Grammer. Wounded Warrior Project supports injured veterans by connecting them with fellow warriors, by serving them through mental health and wellness programs, and by empowering them to live on their own terms. No one should face a battle alone. Join us at woundedwarriorproject.org.
Attorney Joe Cordell.
Business owners and professionals face special challenges in divorce court. In addition to everything else going on, they have to contend with allegations that they are earning more than they are, coupled with claims on their business or practice itself. Clients with assets depend on their divorce lawyer's skills in these matters, and that's why it's so important to hire someone that has those skills.
Online at CordellCordell.com. Offices in Pittsburgh, Beaver, and Cranberry Township. Joseph Cordell, licensed in Missouri and Illinois only.
Do you owe more than $10,000 in back taxes? Good news. There's a new way out. It's called the Fresh Start Initiative. Call U.S. Tax Shield, A+ rated with the BBB. 800-391-5063 for your free consultation, and let U.S. Tax Shield
We've all felt the impact of rising food prices. For families in poverty, they're facing malnutrition and even death. You can feed a family for a month with your $50 donation to Compassion International. Just text the word radio to 97646.
It's time to get out and vote for the very best, the best of Indiana County. Presented by the law firm of Marcus & Mack. Got a favorite burger, a favorite gym, a doctor, or place to shop? Vote for them and more at bestofindianacounty.com now through April 26th. Show your support for the local business in Indiana.